Hey guys, Mr. Patick here. Hopefully everyone's staying warm, everyone has power, is having a good time off, and enjoy the weekend. This week we are working on what's called scientific notation. What that means is we're going to take really, really big numbers and make them small. So instead of saying there is 900 million grains of sand, which is a huge, ridiculous number, grains of sand on the beach, what we're going to do is we're going to move the decimal point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. And we're taking that huge number and we're making it look like this. So it'll end up being 9 times 10 to the 8th power. That's what that little 8 means. 10 to the 8th power. It means you multiply it 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, 8 times. So when you start doing some other math like biology, chemistry, when they talk about the size of atoms, or if you talk about stars, how many stars are there in the universe, instead of putting massive numbers like 900 trillion or 9 gazillion or whatever, you can put it in scientific notation and make it look like that, a smaller number. We're not going to be dealing with such huge numbers for the 2 assignments that I've posted for you, which, by the way, will be due on Wednesday. This week is a little weird with the snow days and you guys not coming to school on Monday, but it'll be on Teams. So what we're going to do is we'll go over some of these together. So we need to turn 77 into scientific notation. So on this piece of paper here, we'll take our 77 and we need to make it into scientific notation. So what you do is every number, like the whole number like this, there's always, you never see it, but there's always a decimal point there. So we're going to move it one place, and then it becomes 7.7. And because we moved it one place, that means we time it 10 to the first. So 77 is the same as 7.7 times 10 to the first. So we'll move again on the second one. So you actually have 120,000. And that's a big number. So we want to move the decimal point from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places. So 120,000 becomes 1.2, and every answer is going to have times 10 to the something. And we moved it 5 times, so that becomes 1.2 times 10 to the 5th. So this number is the same thing as this number. We'll do one more. Number 3 on your first worksheet is 86,000. Which is there, and remember, your decimal point, you can't really, it's not always there, but you can't always see it, but it's always there. We're going to move it 1, 2, 3, 4 times to make it 8.6. And because we moved it 4 times, it becomes times 10 to the 4th power, like that. Easy stuff. Now, you say, well, why do you move it that many times or that kind of thing? Always remember, the answer is going to have one number left of the decimal. So you see 8 is left of the 6, 1 is left of the 2, 7 is left of the 7. You're always going to move the decimal point to where you only have one number left of it, okay? So number 5, we'll do one more actually, because this is a big number. This is 7,500,000. So 7,500,000, and we're going to have to move the decimal point 6 places to get it between the 7 and the 5. So 7,500,000 becomes 7.5 times 10 to the 6th, just like that. So that huge 7.5 becomes this. It's the exact same number, just looks a different way. And like I say, if you're doing grains of sand or stars in the universe, these zeros might go on forever and ever and ever and ever. And it's just easier to do it like this. And remember, this is called scientific notation. On the second half of the worksheet, the 8.9 times 10 to the third, we're going to change the numbers from scientific notation back to standard form, and standard form is the way most numbers look. So for this one, number 8.9 times 10 to the third, these we're going to do the opposite. We're going to go away 3 spaces to make this number turn bigger. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. So if you take 8.9 and we go 3 places, we go 1, 2, 3. You put zeros where it goes. So 1, 2, 3. So it's actually 8,900.0. So it's kind of hard to show on this piece of paper, but we're moving the decimal point 1, 2, 3, and we're like for instance, let's try that 8.9, and we need to move it 3 places. So we're going to on our piece of paper go 1, 2, 3, and then put the decimal point at the end. I don't know if you can see that little decimal point, but where the lines go underneath, put a 0 there. So 8,900. So 8.9 becomes 8,900. This is a little more complicated than the other way around, but it's not hard. You guys can do it. I have faith in you. All right, number 12, we'll try that one, is 1.49 times 10 to the 5th. So we're going to take the decimal point at 1.49 and we're going to move it 5 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So just like the last one, 1.49. We're going to move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on your paper, you can do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And where the little like dips down, it kind of looks like someone blinking, or I don't know, like a comb. Those where the zeros go. So 1.49, and you're adding 3 zeros. So 1.49 actually becomes 149,000. That's a comma. So every 3 numbers there's a comma. So it's actually 149,000. All right, 13 is a little easier. This is you're only going to have to move it 1 time. So 4.6 times 10 to the first. Remember that 1, that little number means how many times, where is it over here? That little number means how many times you move the decimal. So we're only moving it 1 time. So 4.6, and you move it 1 time, becomes 46. So back to this is how many times you move the decimal. Okay? Not that difficult. Now, on the second worksheet, the one that has it's going to have a back to it. I don't know if you guys are going to see a back or not, or if it's going to be on 2 different pages because I have the document. It looks like this. Some of them are going to have a negative number. So like for instance, this one's a negative number. So that means we're just going the opposite way. We're taking a tiny number and we're going to make it look bigger. So on that worksheet, for number 2, you have 0.000619. That's a really small number. It's less than 1. So we need to move the decimal how many places to where it says 6.19. So we have to move to the right. When you move to the right, it's going to become a negative number. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. 1, 2, 3, 4. We had to move the decimal point 4 times to get 6.19. So 6.19. And remember with scientific notation, the answer is always times 10. to how many times did we move that decimal point? We moved it -4 times. We moved it to the right, which makes it -4 times. So 0.000619 in scientific notation becomes 6.19 times 10 to the -4th. Does that make sense? Hopefully. If not, you can always ask me messages. You can always send me messages on Teams. If you or your mom or your dad or whoever you're living with needs to message me on Facebook, it's just Mike Patick. Send me a message on Facebook. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Or you can also email me, michael.patick@k12.wv.us. So again, scientific notation, we're taking big numbers, and we're making them look smaller. So for number 1 on the first worksheet that I'm going to give to you, 77, you move the decimal from the 7 to between the 7, so it becomes 7.7. And every answer on the first worksheet is going to end times 10 to whatever amount of times you had to move the decimal point. So for number 2, like we did earlier, it's times 10 to the 5th because we moved the decimal point 5 times. Okay? On the back of your second worksheet is this little coloring deal. If you want to color it on paint, that's fine. If not, also fine. But I do need the correct answers on this side. So here's what they ask. This is the question, and they're asking you to put it in scientific notation, so you circle one of these 3 things. If you want to color it, you see where it says number 1 here? So if, say, for instance, number 1, the answer is yellow. You find on your star which one says number 1, and you color it yellow. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. Mr. Patick, enjoying a nice warm day at my house. I'll be on all day if you need me. I'll be on most of the day Saturday and Sunday and Monday, and I'll see you guys back in class on Tuesday. Have a great day. Thanks, guys.